Good evening, everybody. It's about time to start our meeting. First of all, welcome all for our club officer training, prospective member engagement. You have not got your pre-work and workbook downloaded and started editing. That you should probably do that right now. Right now it's about time for introducing our trainer today. Our trainer is a 22-year member of Mattel Toastmasters. She's a past District 1 governor where she led her district to rank number 9 in the world with her initiative operation, Shooting for the Moon. The team embodied the Toastmasters mission of empowering individuals to become effective communicators and leaders by sharing the training program, which led to a 9% increase in member payments. The skills she earned on this journey have helped her excel on the world's biggest playground, Mattel Toys, where in her previous role, she oversaw the national outlet store business and was responsible for customer retention and growth. Please welcome three-time Distinguished Toastmaster, past District 1 Governor, Govanna Dottore.
Thank you, VJ. It's a pleasure to get to be all the way up in District 2. District 1 is down here in Los Angeles, where it's about 100 and something degrees down here, so I don't know what it's like there. But it is a Wednesday night, and where else would you be than a Toastmasters training? So first, I want to say thank you to everyone for joining, whatever it took for you to get here. Maybe it was going from the couch over to your computer. I don't know. Maybe it was turning off Bridgerton. Who knows? But thank you for being here. It's exciting. And we get to spend the next, about hour and a half-ish together. And so if you logged in earlier, you heard me say that as a presenter, cameras off is my kryptonite, right? I very much feed off the energy and the facial expressions of those who are participating. So as a favor to me, if you feel comfortable and want to take yourself off the off mode and put it on the on mode, that would be fantastic and helps create a little bit of energy and dynamicness-ism for you grammarians in the room. That's not really a word, I just made it up, but I wanted to see who was paying attention. Put a little energy in there. So tonight we're going to talk about that prospective member journey. Now, when I say that, that's a lot of words. What do you hear with prospective member journey? What comes to mind? Hi, Merity, welcome. All right, so I'm going to do a role play. Stop me if you heard this before. You're in a Toastmasters meeting and you get to the part where it's table topics, right? And you've got members in this club who've paid good money to improve your public speaking, your communication, your leadership skills, your ability to think on your feet. And here comes a table topic session, and the topic master inevitably gives a question and then says, who would like to answer? And it is dead silent. You guys are paying really good money to be quiet. You're in the wrong group. This is a learn by doing. So I'll ask the question again. Let's not pretend like we're in our table topics in the meeting. We're in the training. When you hear prospective member journey, what comes to mind? Could be anything. Don't make me call on people. It doesn't have to be table topics completely.
I'll break the ice. It just means the beginning of the process, from the time that they enter the door, from the time that they reach out and communicate with you. And from there, there's steps in a process.
Great, Stephanie, thank you. That's very textbook response of you. Well done, thank you. Anyone else? No one here is like, oh, a lot of words, oh, sales, oh, I don't know how to do that. No one here is the gritty stuff. All right, let's see. What do we have in the chat? We have a lot of chats popping up, so that's good.
Are you able to see everyone here? Because Mary Ellen has her hand up, and that means that they go to the upper left corner of your screen if you're in grid view.
I can see her now, yes.
Perfect.
Fabulous, thank you. Mary Elaine, is that it?
Yeah, it's Mary Elaine.
Okay.
Make them feel welcome. If you're the like person who welcomes new members. If you can, make sure the Toastmaster has their name. Let them know about table topics. Make sure the topic master has their name. I don't think the topic master should ask for volunteers. I think you should be calling on people, call on people who know what they're doing first. And then after the guest has heard a few topics, ask them if they'd like to participate. They don't have to.
All right, that's a topic for another
A
meeting.
bunch of stuff you can do to make
Silence, but I want to know, what chocolate are you eating? What kind? Dark chocolate, light chocolate, white chocolate?
Dove dark chocolate has come out with an 82% version, which is not bad.
All right. So did you bring some for everybody though?
Well, I did. I have 2 bags, but I'm not sure how to go about sharing.
All right, good deal. Thank you for playing. Just trying to get the energy up. It's a Wednesday, the week is half over, still a little bit more to go. And here we're gonna have an hour and a half of training. So let's dive into our topic for the evening. So I'm going to do a screen share and we'll walk through a few things of what tonight is going to look like. You got a little taste of it. I get a lot of energy. I like to bring some funniness and get you guys involved. So don't think that's gonna change anytime soon. We're going to talk today, we're going to go over the pre-work and we're going to debrief through it a little bit because that will set us up nicely for when we do our breakout rooms. So if you did not get your pre-work or the workbook, check your chat, or maybe we could post it again. We've had some people join. And the second and more important question is, you may have gotten it, but did you open it and did you do the work? So that's what you're going to need to do. And feel free to follow along with your pre-work. And we'll talk a little bit about that prospective member journey as we go through the debrief. So what you can expect tonight, the objectives to be, is there are basically 3 of them. And the first is to check out those 4 phases. And when you recognize where a person is in a particular phase, then you know how to support them through that phase. It's not enough to just support during the support after they join, but it's really helping them along their decision-making journey. The second piece for this evening is being able to identify the critical activities. What do you do when you recognize that someone is in a particular phase to help them move through it? And ultimately, in this case, since we're talking about membership, joining your club. And then lastly, we'll have some resources for you. So for after this meeting, what do I do next? Where do I go? We have a few of those tips. Okay. So let's ground ourselves, though, in a big question. I think sometimes we get a little muddled in the why we look to increase the membership. So take a moment, think about it. What have you heard? What do you believe? What do you think? Is there an answer you think I'm looking for? But just take yourself off mute. Why do you think that it's important? Why do we look to increase membership? See,
Because people leave. Because people leave for good reasons.
people leave. Absolutely.
They change jobs.
They change jobs. There's a natural attrition. People move, people grow out, people get promoted, they leave the country. Although, where's Mikhail? You know, Mikhail is calling from Ensenada, Mexico, people. So, like, in this virtual world, we don't need to lose anybody for that reason.
I'm busy choking. I'll be back.
Please don't.
Oh dear.
Let us know you're okay. Okay, let us know you're okay. All right, why else do we increase membership?
We increase membership as well. It's the similar that I like to do as a business owner. I like freshness to my staff. I like someone who questions why we do things, because I get to either reinforce or I get to sit back and think, okay, good question. I have no idea. So again, someone who brings or new, who bring fresh thoughts and fresh ideas and stimulate the rest of us.
Yeah, continues growth through innovation, through new ideas, through new experiences. Sometimes when we're so close to something we've been doing so long, it's tough for us to disconnect and take a step back and really look at, is there another way of doing it? Or is there a fun way of doing it? We kind of go, well, it's always been working this way. And if it isn't broken, why fix it? Well, it doesn't mean that it's broken. There's always an opportunity to innovate though. what other ideas are there for growing membership? Why do we do it? Why do we even spend time? Why are you here? Why do we want to do it? Because someone told you to be here? Mary, you have your hand up.
Yes, I think, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I had it on the tip of my tongue and I'm sorry, I forgot.
All right, we'll come
Sorry.
back to you. So hold on to it. William has his hand up. I would love to hear everything you have to say, but that mute button is not letting me hear it.
Hi, we have a mute. We have during the counter, we do mute counting as well when somebody's speaking during mute. But what I find is that the club can lose a lot of energy when a lot of people are gone and only 3 or 4 people show up, especially in a Zoom environment, when 3 or 4 people show up, and a lot of energy can leave the group. So
Yeah.
it's not about new.
Small meetings can be tough, right? And when you have a small roster, the basic number of roles in a meeting is about 8. So if you only have 9 to 12 members in a club, and the same members are filling the same roles or different roles every week and participating, sometimes don't you just want to come and listen? Like, I don't want to be the grammarian or the timekeeper every week, right? So that energy, it also helps prevent burnout as well. Okay, we'll take our last 2. So Mary, did it come back to you?
It did, thank
All
you.
right.
Yes, you can get in a rut if you don't have new ideas. And then people lose interest.
Yeah, perfect. Javon, last one. I see your hand up.
Thank you.
Please.
Be able to turn on my camera, but I'd like to second everyone's response tonight. Absolutely, freshness is one of the reasons why we want to increase membership, but then also why not? There's so many fantastic things that we get from Toastmasters, so why would we not want to share that with others who haven't experienced it yet?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is a fantastic segue into this piece. So I don't know how many of you know the ultimate mission of Toastmasters International. And if you go onto the website, toastmasters.org, and click on the About, you'll see that their mission is to empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. It doesn't say some, it doesn't say a few, it doesn't say select, it's implied all individuals. Empower them to become effective communicators and leaders. And how we do that is through our clubs. We want to be able to reach as many people as possible. And you think about the world today, could we use some more effective communicators and leaders by chance, right? And so we want to be able to share the good things that we are learning and how it's impacted our life and how we've impacted other people in a positive way because of our leadership and our communication skills that we've been developing. And so I think when you put to the forefront all the things that we've been sharing about why we look to increase membership and add this piece that we're looking to bring to life the mission. We want to empower people, right? We want to be part of someone else's journey. We want them to be part of ours. That collective good, it really brings to mind a different experience when we look to share the goodness of Toastmasters. So who else gets to go? How many people have you touched, moved, and inspired through your communication and leadership skills? My offer is you probably can't count. It's a ripple effect. Now, is everyone on here a club officer? Let me just check. Just raise your hand, give me a thumbs up, everybody. All right. So I'm going to digress for a second, but it does tie back into the prospective members' journey. As club officers, who do you think you impact? Give me the obvious answer. Let's start there.
Money.
You can impact other, you can just take yourself right off mute. We just want this to be super like popcorn shares, really fast, right? You're going to impact your other club officers. You'll impact your members. Would you agree?
Yes.
Give me an emoji, give me something. Step one was getting your camera on, so thank you. The next is some reaction. We're doing well.
Co-workers?
Yes, you're going to impact your coworker. And the thing is, those club members that you're impacting, they're going to impact their coworkers and their family and their friends in their community. Your leadership, your ability to communicate, persuade, inspire, share your stories, you'll never be able to count the ripple effect that you're going to have. And when you think of it in that way, right, when you think of it in that way, when you're looking to attract members and share the goodness, think of it that way, that you're going to impact them. It's not just for sake of your DCP and getting goals 7 and 8 and those members. And this is coming from someone who's super competitive, who strongly believes in goals, in particular stretch goals. And you heard my intro, right? There's a reason why I put those numbers in there, that when I was district director, that we increased by 9%. It wasn't just because we were looking at numbers. That is a measure of our impact, a measure of our programs, a measure of how we're looking to deliver on that mission of empowering people to become more effective communicators and leaders, right? You're spending a lot of effort. Don't you want it to result into something? Right? Please just tell me yes. You're gonna live up your own. All right, let's move on and get through the rest of this quickly so you guys can get to be chatting. All right, let's move these screens around here. So let's talk. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go briefly over the 4 phases of the member journey. Now you can insert member, client, patient, customer, whoever you want to put in. Whenever we're looking to invest our time or invest our money, we pretty much go through these phases, right? And so it's awareness, evaluation, join, and support. And at any given time, when you're talking with someone, if you know where they are in their journey, you'll know what to do to share that can help them through their stages. And ultimately, in this case, join your club so they too get to become a more effective communicator and leader. So this is going to be a whole lot of sharing. Okay, so please don't make me call on people. I don't like it. Okay, so I'm going to enlarge my screen so I can see all of the beautiful faces in District 2. But think for a moment, put yourself in the shoes of the prospective member. Maybe think back to before you joined and you were that moment where you were about to join, let's put it that way. How did you decide what to be spending your time on? Right, I only have so many hours in the day. I've got work, I've got family, I've got me going to Disneyland. I have 3 nephews I love spending time with. Where do I decide does Toastmasters fit in?
I'm just going to throw in what would inspire me is what gets me excited, what I want to recognize, something I want to be a part of, what ignites something within me.
Great, thank you. Fawn, you have your hand up, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't, you called my name. So I, when I decided to join Toastmasters and needed to make a determination on what I was going to spend my time on, really it is, how much juice am I going to get from this squeeze? Is the work worth the reward? And absolutely, what you get out of Toastmasters goes above and beyond. You can use it in so many different ways. So that was one thing that motivated me to join Toastmasters.
Yeah, there's a money response right there, our value. The effort I'm going to put in it, am I going to get the results back? What's my experience going to be like? I can't stress enough, don't underestimate that because something is free or less expensive, people giving you their time, like to me, time is a really big deal. Don't waste my time. Like that is such a big thing for me. Don't waste my time. So it's great that it's a lesser of an investment than maybe some other training programs, but the time, when people are willing to give you their time and more of it, that's also a big indicator. So we'll take a couple, I see Caitlin, I think Tassara and Mary had their hands up. So quickly, we'll start with Tassara real fast, and then we're gonna move on to the next piece.
Sure. Well, what drew me to my Toastmasters club that I decided to join was that I found that the people were just really friendly and inviting, and ever since I left college and entered the professional arena, I found that that social aspect was really missing from my life. And I found that with Toastmasters, I got that social piece back into my life. So that's why I joined my club.
Fantastic. Thank you. Mary, quickly, please.
I had a bad review at a short-term job that I had, and it was because I was too wordy. I love to talk, but that's why I joined, was to learn to use my words more wisely.
All right. Thank you. Caitlin.
Answering your more general question, when I weigh what to do with my free time, I try to balance fun and what takes me closer to where I want to be overall. And to build onto Sarah, I also have discovered how much harder it is to make friends or find like-minded people as an adult in the professional world. So I love that my club is work-based, so I can hang out with my coworkers virtually who don't live in the same area as me and have a great time with people while also getting towards my professional goals.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. So I'll conclude on this piece and talk a little bit about what this phase is in a moment. I had a few months ago, I had invited the chief sales officer of my entire company to come and give a speech to our Toastmasters Club on our little workshop Wednesday. We had 135 people on our call, on our meeting call. And he used to be a Toastmaster many years ago when he lived in another part of the world, but he shared his 3 reasons for joining Toastmasters. 1 was to develop his communication skills, 2 was around humor, and 3 was to meet women. He said the demographics of men to women, the ratio, there were more women in Toastmasters than at his local pub. So he thought Toastmasters was the better bet, right? So it goes to what we were talking about earlier, but it can look all sorts of ways where you want to spend your time, right? What you find to be valuable for you. Let me tell you how powerful it was to hear that coming from like one of the highest guys in charge of the company, sharing that with everybody. There's a different reason for everyone. So this stage here is called the awareness, right? This is when we become aware of, in Mary's case, she was saying she was really wordy. Someone is sharing about, I want to balance my time, right? We're becoming aware of how we want our life experiences to be, basically. So we go out seeking something to solve it. What's going to help us get to that conclusion or achieve that ultimate balance, achieve the less wordiness, get the ultimate date, maybe whatever your reason for Toastmasters is. But this is the awareness phase. So when you know that someone has become aware, that means they now have choices. Because once you know something, you can't not know it anymore. Right? So this phase is key, is even having the awareness first off. So the second question we have is, think about the customer perspective. How do brands enable you to try their product? They got freebies. You've been to Costco. They have those little tasters all over the place, right? And we get to try them out. You get the swag bags from places. You can be product testers. You look at reviews, right? You buy something off Amazon. You check out a Yelp review, TripAdvisor, Glassdoor, anything you're looking for to get an experience with something before you buy it, right? Before you invest your time. You're looking to find, can I try it out first? Wouldn't it be great with like a car? They have them now. This is called the evaluation phase. So basically you're saying, hey, I've got all these options. Which one is going to be best? I'm going to do pros and cons. Maybe I'm going to rank them on a scale of 1 to 10. This is a 5. This is a 3. Whatever their methodology is, maybe it's just how much fun it brings me, how many people. But this evaluation phase becomes critical. And it goes back to, I think, what Devon was saying, which is, of what I've got to put into it, how much is going to come back to me? Is it worth it? So you really want to check out, if they're in the evaluation phase, what do they need to come back to them to say yes? What is that solution? And sometimes we get stuck in a loop of benefits versus really understanding the solution. A benefit could be something like, oh, we meet on Mondays, or we have quick meetings. The solution is, you've got more time for your family. You've got more time to go surfing. You've got more time to watch Bridgerton on TV. Whatever your shtick is, what solution are you providing to that area that they became aware of that they want to address? All right, let's think about our third question that just popped off my screen. There we go. Thinking about the experience of that prospective member again. What was the most complicated purchase you have ever made? Car, a house, whether to buy green bubble gum or yellow bubble gum. You should watch my 4-year-old nephew try and decide to buy candy. It's a big purchase. It's a big investment. All right, what was the most complicated purchase you've ever made? All of your purchases have gone smoothly, fine, weigh pros and cons. It's fantastic. I'm going to come up to Washington.
I would say probably a house or a car.
Okay, and is that true for you?
Yeah, yes, just because of the financial implications.
Okay, got it. A long process. Anybody else? Trip around the world versus a trip down to San Diego.
For me, Mikhail, my most complicated purchase was when I had to buy high fidelity speakers for my diesel submarine.
Okay, well, you don't hear that every day, do you? And what was so complicated about it, Mikhail?
Because it was in a diesel submarine, I had to make sure that they were hermetically sealed enough so that dust and dirty particles didn't contaminate the vibrations part of the speakers throughout the entire submarine, in the engine room, in all of the different compartments of the submarine. It was quite a chore.
Yeah, a lot of levers that you have to think about that have to be pulled in order for it to be worth it, for you to invest in it. Well, once we figure those pieces out, that's when we're ready to join. That's when we're ready to buy, right? That's when we're ready to give more of our time. So you want to know, how do they commit to saying yes? The ultimate piece is why they lead into this join phase around what was the most complicated purchase, is because the easier you can make it for someone to join, the more likely they are going to join, and there's a sense of trust. And that trust piece oftentimes for someone is huge. What are you going to do with my time? What are you going to do with my money? So if you've ever had a time where you were signing up, maybe it was for a credit card or a timeshare. I just recently heard this story when we were talking about this. All of a sudden, someone's not calling you back, or they're giving you a different quote, or they're passing you on to someone else, or the link to their website doesn't work or takes you to the wrong place, or a bunch of click funnels before you finally get it, right? You ever see those things if you have Facebook and then you get those ads and then you got to watch this like 30-hour video just to get to the last 3 minutes to say what you wanted to say. You're like, is this a scam? Am I really going to get this? And it's of some free downloadable workbook, 3 pages long. So the easier you can make it for them, the more trust and the more value they see, and it sets them up to succeed right off the bat. They're not coming in weary, like looking over their shoulder going, did I make the right choice? Right? We don't want that to be their first initial impression. All right, let's look at this one really quickly. As a customer, what have your favorite brands done to support you after you've purchased the product? All right, has anyone bought anything lately?
Follow up.
Yeah, how do they
communication?
Support?
Email or sending you emails and asking if how it worked out.
Great. Okay. They contact anyone else different than someone is raising their hand. I think Tasara has her hand. Hi.
Yeah, so what I love about my MacBook is I can take it into the Apple store anytime and they'll repair it or let me know if it's okay or needs repairs.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. I know when I, a few years ago, I had to buy a new car, got in a big old car accident and my car was completely totaled. And when I got the new car, for a few weeks afterward, they would call and say, hey, how are you liking it? We want to make sure if you have any problems, please feel free to come bring it in. We'll take a look at it for free. We want to make sure that you're completely satisfied. And then when you get there, they've got this really nice lounge. Of course, not now with COVID, but they've got the free goodies and the free swag just to make you feel like family, that you're in the right place. You feel very supported, warm, and fuzzy, because you know a car in particular is a really big purchase. A MacBook is a really big purchase. We'll take one more share. How do the brands that you have chosen to buy, or something that you've chosen to buy, how does that support you? What do they do to support you, to make you want to come back, buy again, refer them? You guys are not shoppers here? No, no one.
I'll share.
Please.
They give you things. So when I bought my new car, I got a keychain and a seat protector for my dog. So they give you things to make sure that you feel like you've spent your money well.
Yes, and people love free things.
To add to that, I get a lot out of the community. I bought a Subaru because I feel like I'm part of the Subaru brand and community. And same thing for why I chose, my company's Toastmasters over another one, because I feel like there's a commonality there. And that community going on is a big part of why I stick with brands.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a loyalty. People build a loyalty big time. And so this is the support phase. This is the final phase, is support. How do people feel once they've signed on the dotted line that they made the right choice? And oftentimes I see this in Toastmasters. So you heard in my intro, I've been a Toastmaster since dirt. I know I don't look a day over 10, but I've been around a long time and gotten to work with different districts globally. And a lot of times what we see is we're so excited to get people in. And then sometimes they just fade off. We don't always have, some clubs do have some great onboarding processes and programs in their club. They offer mentors. They show them how to get into pathways really quickly. They set up meeting times with them. They've got a buddy. I will say that's not necessarily the norm though. So you want to take a moment and check and see, how does my club handle and support once a new member has signed, paid, been inducted? What do we do? Do we leave them just hanging? More times than not, someone does not renew come that next dues period if they're not made to feel part of the group and like they're getting value right away. So you want to check in and see what you're doing to support them once they've signed on. And then you want to see, are they feeling satisfied? This is a touch point you should do regularly with all your members, no matter how long they've been a member. I promise you, the reason I joined Toastmasters 20 some years ago is not necessarily the reason why I stay in Toastmasters now. My reason would be different. So don't take for granted because someone has been around for a while and may know a lot of things. They're a member too, and they're paying dues too. So check in with them. How are they feeling? What would they like to do? Are they still feeling satisfied? Cool. So I'm going to check in. Any questions from the debrief? Because we're going to go into like some more activity now. Now you can't hide behind mute. Questions? No? All right. We'll see. We'll see, as they say. Let's move our screen. All right, let's wrap up this piece. The prospective member journey is basically your framework for understanding the member's experience. It's giving them opportunity to speak their mind, share their experience, share their desire of what they're looking for and where you have the solution or the support. and not necessarily in a forceful way, or you have to, or you need, right? Someone's telling you you've got to do something, or you need Toastmasters. That's like the quickest thing to make them set their hair on fire and run the opposite direction, right? Don't tell me what I need, whether I do or not. Those aren't usually words that adults hear very well, but they do hear your journey. They do hear your experiences. And if you think of a speech that you may have heard during the International Speech Contest, especially those that get pretty far in the process, they start with things like, here's my life today. Then this happened. I learned X. This is what happened when I applied it. Here's why I recommend you do it. And if it's not about them, it may be about someone else. It's a simple template. Not all follow that, but a lot do. And when you can see yourself in their journey, or when you can say, oh my gosh, that's my mom, that's my neighbor, that's my pastor, that's my grocery store registered clerk person, when you can resonate on a heart to heart, there's more likelihood someone is going to say, this is for me. This is the place I need. This is the balance I need, the family I need, the right training that I need, whatever it is they're looking for. But if you don't know what they're looking for, you don't know how to share what's possible with them. You don't know which story to share. Oftentimes, this is what I have here. Oh, it's really easy. You come once a week and we've got pathways. You work at your own pace. We've got 11 paths. You could do humor, blah, blah, blah. We're telling them all about the how. We're not sharing the result. And you guys are the results. And it's going to be different for everybody. So maybe Mary is less wordy as a result of being in Toastmasters. Mikhail already told me, right? He worked on his skills. He's got a beautiful new bride of 5 years. He worked on his Spanish, right? It's going to be different for everybody. That's why I was saying, I want to have you talk to my mom, because I was telling her about a different language. But when we can see each other in our stories, it increases the likelihood of someone wanting to join. Okay. So now we're going to get into the goody stuff. We're going to do some breakouts. Everybody say, yay. I love when you guys just humor me. Just say yes. Those of you with your video off, I know that you're saying yes. There we go. Show me some emojis. My kryptonite is showing. Okay, I'm going to give some instructions to support you for the next 20 plus minutes. Okay, so if you need to screenshot, feel free. So basically, we're going to go through this really quickly, and now my video screen just blew up. So in a moment, you are going to have the opportunity to join a breakout room. So when you see that button pop up, just click it and it will automatically assign you to a room. While you're there, feel free, if you want to screen share, especially your workbook or your pre-work, because you're going to be talking about your pre-work during that time. Feel free to screen share, use the whiteboard, whatever you need to do during this breakout session. Make it as robust as you can. Make sure you assign a timekeeper, because each of you in the breakout room is going to get to share a little bit about what you wrote during your pre-work and in your workbook. Okay, we'll give you more instructions on that. But assign a timekeeper to make sure that you guys stay on track. Each person gets the right amount of time to share, equal amount of time. We'll be sending broadcast messages just as a reminder of time, because I know sometimes we get all into our discussion and we're not being mindful of our time. So we'll ping you periodically, 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left, just to support you on this journey. Okay, and if you have any questions, there's that help button that you can just ping and it'll come to us and let us know. And I'll be popping in and out of the different rooms, just checking in. Okay, questions so far on what I've covered so far? Okay, all right, so in your workbook, you're gonna start on page 2. Okay, you're gonna start on page 2. So we already talked about you're gonna join your breakout room. You'll be automatically assigned. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just automatically assigned. Start on page 2. And you're going to describe the activities, right? What are you going to do? What should your club do in each of the 4 phases to support a prospective member? And it may help you to give some scenarios, like there's a member who wants X, a member who wants to improve Y, or wants to do this with their life. That sometimes can help when you actually create a scenario to work from, and then other ideas will flourish. And try to make them as tangible as possible. Resist the temptation to say, oh, we check in on them. What does that mean? What does check in on them mean? Look to get a little more specific for each of the phases, okay? All right, here we go. After you look at activities, then what resources do you need? Do you need packets? Do you need handouts? Do you need a video? Do you need to do office hours? We used to do this in my club quite a bit. We do mentor office hours because we didn't have enough senior members to be mentors. So a few of us would do office hours once a week. Whoever wanted to log into the Zoom did and could get their questions asked. So we did mentoring a little bit of a different way for a while until we rebuilt our club. Now for each of you, you get to have 2 to 3 minutes in your group, in your breakout room, to share your ideas and share what you did in your pre-work and your homework. Okay, so that timekeeper. Hopefully you have those background timing cards or something, an app on your phone. Make sure you have a scribe that will capture the ideas, because what I would love is to get all of the ideas from all the different groups, combine them, and then send them out to everybody so you can hear all the good stuff, because we don't have time to go through every idea. When the breakout room is done, everyone will come back to the main room, and each group, so who is someone that's going to share? Please have that person identified before you leave your breakout. I'm warning you ahead of time. Each group is going to get to share. Please don't be trying to figure it out just before I say, hey, group 3, I haven't heard from you. Figure out who is going to speak on behalf of your club, your group, your club, and share. And it'll be 1 to 1.5 minutes. So this is great table topics on acid. Not really, because I already told you what you're talking about, right? So our timekeeper will support you, and you'll have 20 minutes in your breakout. Okay. Questions on what I've covered so far? Clear? Excited? Nervous? Can't wait to get in? Govanna's talking too long? That might be. I do talk a lot. Okay. Good deal. I'm skipping ahead, giving you a preview. Whet your appetite. Let's check it with BJ. BJ, are we ready to send people to their breakout?
Yes, I am ready. Yes.
All right, so push that button. You guys are going to have something pop up that says join breakout room. You've been assigned.
What button do we push?
It should pop. Right
No, you should just get a pop-up message saying that join a breakout room. So you should be able to.
In the Zoom meeting, I don't see that.
Did a pop?
Breakout rooms. I see it now.
There you are. Bye, Mikhail. Enjoy.
Okay.
Welcome, welcome. It's so quiet. We need to play some music. District 1, they play music for everything. We have a lot of DJs in District 1. It looks like we're all back, yes? Our warm and cozy. So how was it? Good? Lots of ideas? Once you get the... All right, well, we'll see. We'll see. So each of your groups will present your ideas on what, on your workbook, when we went through the phases, we talked about what activities would you do to support someone through each phase, and then what resources, what you would need. So who's ever going to present for your group, you will have 1 minute and 15 seconds. So our Zoom host extraordinaire, Mr. VJ, our Division A director, will be our timekeeper. So at 45 seconds, you'll get a green. At 1 minute, you will get the yellow. And at
What does it sound? What
What's
does it
that?
sound? What does it sound actually? I don't know.
What does it sound?
Yeah, there was a sound. I don't know what it is.
Can you guys hear me okay?
I'm okay. Yeah, there was some crazy noise that was happening. Stuff.
All right. And you'll get at 1:15, you'll get the red. Okay. And you really want to wrap it up because we want to make sure that we're respectful of everyone's time and we end on time. But share the most powerful things that you feel that your group came up with that will really support the rest of the group, that they're going to want to frantically write down the notes as well. If someone else has shared your idea, right? If you didn't get to go first and pick and someone's like, oh, that was mine, just go to the second one on your list. So the idea is to have as many unique ideas shared as possible and resist the temptation to say, I echo the comments of the first 75 people who went ahead of me. I'm sure and clear by the shares that I heard and bouncing around, you have a lot of unique ideas, okay? So really look to support one another and share something unique. Keep you on your toes. Any questions before we start? Well, you guys nervous? Just checking in. It is Toastmasters. You paid a lot of money to be quiet. Okay, good deal. Well, then let's start with the group other ideas. Who is our spokesperson? You guys thought I was going to start with awareness, huh? All right, VJ, you've got a screen share going on. Would you be able to use that as a background so we can see people in the gallery easier instead of in a screen share?
I can.
Okay, good deal. Thank you. Cool. Okay. Group other ideas. Who's up?
I didn't know we had group names.
All right, so when I went to, this is fun, this is listening, this speaks to listening. When I visited each group, I asked, do you have a scribe? Do you have a timekeeper? Do you have someone to represent your group awareness, your group join, your group other ideas? So ask your team for support. No one in your group heard your group name or saw the group when you clicked. These are—
Okay, it's to Sarah, Tony, the Node, William, and Zoe. Or Zoe.
Okay, here's how we'll do it. To Sarah, you're gonna go first. So if you were not into Sarah's group, you'll know, right? Because we all knew our people. Hope we got to know one another. This is the exact training, awareness. All right, to Sarah, kick us off.
Okay, I guess we're going. So we talked through a couple of questions. We talked a lot about how we found our prospective clubs. I personally found mine through a Facebook advertisement. Some of my fellow group members found theirs just researching on the Toastmasters website. And then one member found their group from looking at a bulletin board advertisement at Fred Meyer. What drew us to joining our clubs were various reasons. Personally, my club's website showed a lot of team building events, like going to GameWorks and bowling. So that drew me to my club right away. I knew it was a good fit for me. We recently went hiking and we're going go-karting soon. And then one teammate said their club has really unique things that they do. I think they do a debate feature, which is something not a lot of clubs do. So they debate different questions for part of their meeting, which I thought was fun. And then we support new members. A lot of my teammates' clubs do check-ins before and after the meeting. They do like a question and answer time for new members after the meeting. And then one person said their club is very organized so that members can understand the roles really easily when they take them on. And then one person said they do inductions into the club for new members. And then popular goals of my group's members include social engagement and presentation. Some members in my club have won speech competitions, so they're really competitive about it. And then me personally, I'm in Toastmasters to try to get—
we are going to bring it to a close. We're at a red. We're at the red. So thank you so much. Round of applause for Tasara and for her going first, jumping in when she wasn't clear what she was jumping into. And a special thanks for allowing me to use the experience as a learning opportunity, as how we connect with our members, right? These are the greatest moments, the greatest teaching opportunities, not what's a text on a slide, but how we really apply it in life. So thank you so much for allowing us to learn from the experience. Let's move on and go up the ladder versus down the ladder, across the ladder. There is no ladder. So I'm going to pick one. Let's go for group support. Who's in group support? And Linda is popping in the chat.
All right.
The participants, if you didn't catch it. So let's go for group support.
Okay, so we went through the questions for each area. And under awareness, we found we had a couple of clubs that were actually very focused and specific. So one club was really about work skills. So members are coming in to develop specific skills for the workplace. And another one was a ladies only club that focused on leadership. So focus of the club was one of the ways of addressing concerns of prospective members. Under evaluate, the biggest thing was have a well-organized, well-run meeting so that when they come, they know that you know what you're doing. For joining, ask the question, right? Ask them to join once they come and see the meeting. And support, number one answer, mentorship, followed closely by a new member packet to provide additional support to them once they sign up.
Great, thank you, Sharon, group 2. All right, moving up. How about the join group? Who's our spokesperson?
That would be me.
Hi there, Meredith.
So are you ready? I'm hearing a lot of the same ideas that we had in ours with some other groups, but for awareness, we had a meetup group, and we would email questions who were for prospective members to see if Toastmasters was suited for their goals. Our club is a diverse, open, fun club, and we call it a learning lab. A couple of people had it where you're free to make mistakes. And we would give people who came to join notebooks. Someone said that there were special problems because of the pandemic. Different clubs have different challenges based on size and age of the club or experience of members. One club said it's possible to write procedures to share with new members who were going to, if a new visitor was going to be doing like table topics. Accountability buddy or mentorship for the onboarding program. And we also had a new member, and a couple of groups had new member induction celebrating ceremonies. And one note was your area director can be a resource.
Good deal, thank you. Round of applause for Meredith. Give her some stars, well done, thank you. All right, moving on to group evaluation.
Thank you so much. So our group discussed about some new ideas which had one club member suggested that she had mainly all her members are from her company, like caregivers. So they have a specific group every week, and they attract new members within their company. One club member told us that they have some specific graphics and things and the social media page for their own club, and then they attract new members from that social media page. As far as my club is concerned, we have only the meetup group, and people join only through the meetup, and we have our own website which they have the Toastmasters meeting and link shared on the homepage, where they can click in and join as guest, and as many times as they can. So we encourage the guests to come number of times as guest and then see what they want from the meeting, and if they are satisfied, they can join. We explain all the rules about how the meeting goes, and we encourage them to visit Toastmasters website, and we ask them to go through the Pathways program if they are interested too. So that's how we follow up with our.
Lavanya, we're going to bring it to a close. We're at our red light. So thank you so much. Well done. If you want to share more of your ideas, feel free to pop it in the chat. Good deal. All right. Group awareness. Where are you?
All right. Well, in these virtual times, we have an advantage in that our pool of potential Toastmasters recruits is wider and more distributed but a disadvantage in that people can't just stumble upon a club. Awareness is more important and in some ways more complicated than ever before. And when it comes to awareness, we navigated different opportunities for both corporate clubs and social clubs. For corporate, we have a chance to engage people throughout their work life cycle. During hiring, we can describe Toastmasters as a perk, especially if our company subsidizes membership dues. The club can also be called out during onboarding, announcements via Teams, email newsletters, and speaking during all hands meetings. Those can all help with awareness. For social clubs, there are major opportunities in the community. One of the clubs represented in our group has a booth at the Mukilteo Lighthouse Festival. That's an amazing opportunity. Other options, like people said, including getting the club name on professional group sites, social sites like Meetup, and similar. Both types, however, use the same resources. We found that the website isn't the best in terms of awareness. Generally, people need to already know we exist for that, but we can individually increase awareness through sharing Toastmasters social media, champion speakers videos, brochures, etc. And of course, the best tool is members sharing their personal experiences and testimonials with people in their networks. Thank you.
Good deal. Thank you. A round of applause for Caitlin and for all of our speakers representing. Did you guys know you were going to get to do it? Probably not. You never know. It's topics on acid. So thank you for doing it. Thank you for having the courage to share and to share your ideas. It's interesting listening to what you guys picked for awareness around creating awareness of your club, as opposed to the awareness the prospective member is having about themselves. What am I now aware of that I want in my life? I'm looking to improve, I'm looking to get, I'm looking to decrease. Awareness you want to know is what awareness do they have about themselves? Which is different than awareness in promotion and getting people to know that your club exists. It's what does the prospective member come to realize about themselves? I want to date, I want to be less wordy, I want more chocolate, I want to speak Spanish, I want more fun in my life, I need something social. That's their awareness that they have. Now I'm going into evaluation. I've got all these resources, all these opportunities. How do I weigh them out? Which one has the best solution? Which one's going to give me the best return on investment for what I put into it? And then as we move in, we're going to join because you're showing how Toastmasters is the best option. And then what's the support? You guys put some tremendous amount of thought in here. So give you guys yourself a round of applause. Give yourself some emojis. It's Wednesday night. The week is almost over and we're doing Toastmasters. All right, let's finish out. There's a link in the chat for surveys. We'd love to hear your feedback. We're going to finish a couple things. So in your workbook on page 5, there are resources for you. And within your workbook, those links are clickable. So I didn't put a bunch of links on here for you or put them in the chat because they're in your workbook. We can post the workbook back in the chat just in case you didn't get it. But there are plenty of, it's honestly, it's almost overwhelming the amount of resources Toastmasters has on supporting you through sharing on their ultimate mission, which is empowering people to be more effective communicators and leaders. There's a tremendous amount of resources. So feel free to pick the one that you feel will best support. Check it out. They're easy to read and easy to work through. Okay, so we will close this out with one thing, but I'm going to get off the screen share and I'm going to click ahead to here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can screenshot it, jot down my email. But we're going to close with this. What is one thing that you learned from this session that you will implement in your club? And I'm going to stop the screen share so we can see your fabulous faces as you share. So really quickly, fast popcorn shares. What's one thing that you learned that you will go and apply with your club?
Follow-up surveys to see, are we meeting the needs of the new members and guests?
Fantastic. Surveys are very powerful, very, very powerful. And I will say, if you're going to survey, make sure you show the group you're listening and that you've implemented something of it. Otherwise, people stop filling out your surveys. So show them you're listening. Verity, please, yes.
It was interesting learning the different steps of the awareness of a new member. I've never really seen it broken down like that before. So
yeah, because sometimes we have these blind spots. We don't know what we don't know, and we don't even know that we don't know it. And then all of a sudden, once we know it, we can't unknow it anymore. If someone tells me 15 times, Govanna, you talk so much with your hands, I don't have to agree, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. I am Sicilian, you know. All right, good deal. Thank you. Who else? What will you apply? What did you learn that you'll apply?
I learned that doing poster campaigns could actually be a really good way to drive membership to your club.
Fantastic. Let us know how it goes. Try it out.
I learned that Nextdoor is actually a resource. I had never occurred to me before that Nextdoor would be a resource for recruiting.
It's a very popular one for Toastmasters down here in the southern part of California, as a matter of fact. So yeah, try it out. Let me know how it goes. Indeed, indeed. Who else? Who else do we have? What did you learn? Please don't tell me you spent an hour and a half just to be quiet and not learn anything. That would make me bad. I'd have to go back to the drawing board. They'll never bring me back to your district.
I'll say something.
Yes.
It's a negative. Whatever you do to promote Toastmasters, do not push it. Do never say you need this. You can say, try this out. This might be for you. This may be a chance to increase your leadership and confidence skills, but never treat them like a child, telling them, you absolutely need this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Child.
I wouldn't say that's a negative, but okay. Good deal. Thank you, Henry. Who's up in my corner?
Rather than saying that you need this, say what you've gotten out of it. I mean, you know, I've been a Toastmaster for 20 years and I love it. That's where I'd start is.
Yeah, share your story. Good deal.
I'm gonna put a bulletin on Myers bulletin board.
Yes, indeed.
I never would have occurred to me.
Good deal. Try it out. Let us know how it goes. Caitlin, you're up.
The most important thing I learned today was about supporting existing members. We're a new club and we haven't had to think too much about that just yet. But it's a good point. What are their goals? Do we know that? I'm not sure that we do. So as I'm the VPPR for our club, so I want to make sure that I dig into that. So thanks for that.
Yeah, and it's really as simple as asking, what do you want? Reflecting. The question is always, what do you want to do on the planet? I'll tell you my lesson learned from the first time of being a president 20 something years ago, whatever it was. We had a speech craft, had a bunch of people join first dues period. A couple people didn't renew, made sense. But one person in particular really caught my eye. When I asked him why he didn't renew, was because he thought all the meetings were going to be run like a speech craft. Now, if you haven't participated in a speech craft, it's basically someone's presenting an educational on gestures or using your words or whatever the topic is. Then those participants in the program, if you will, go off, prepare their speech accordingly and come back. And that's how it goes, more or less. And so he thought we were going to have an educational presentation every week. My club meets every week. Is it possible? Yes. It would be a tremendous amount of work, obviously, for us to do. And that's why he didn't renew. And it taught me a big lesson. I don't know that I could have addressed it, but the point is knowing that everyone, it's more than simply communication and leadership skills. Like really look to get to know what the person wants to do under those super large umbrellas. Okay, we'll take one more and then I'm going to hand it over to our trio because I know that they have fabulous things to say. So Mary, your hand is up. Tell us one thing you're going to go apply.
Well, I was surprised that some clubs are really active in that they do team building activities together. And I think that's a really neat idea. And we could go from none to maybe 2 a year.
Yeah. My corporate club, we used to do happy hour quarterly, especially when we were virtual. We'd send out a recipe for a drink, like mojitos and alcoholic or non-alcoholic, and we do it after hours. So you weren't on work time necessarily, like making drinks. And then we would, just chit chat. We're still our way to have a happy hour, even though we couldn't be in person. Okay, well, that's all I got. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll be on for a while, or you have my email address. I'll put that in the chat also. Feel free to follow up. But with that, it has been a joy to get to present and listen to all of your wonderful shares. And I thank Tina and Linda for the invitation. And of course, our Zoom host extraordinaire, Mr. VJ, who's been keeping things going behind the scenes. Without him, it wouldn't be possible. So make sure we give him a big old round of applause. And I will turn it back over to VJ, as a matter of fact. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Govanna.